This is exactly how I use Stoicism every morning to ensure I have the best day possible, but also the best week possible, which leads to the best year possible and hopefully the best life. And I learned this from the ancient Stoics. Now, in the ancient literature, there is many passages where they actually talk about morning routines. This isn't some new modern adaptation where people make these YouTube videos like doing Marcus Aurelius' morning routine. They literally wrote, do this every morning. Every morning say to yourself that this is what is required of me as a human being. This is my duty. My duty is not to lay in the covers and stay warm. And personally for me, I've read many of their morning routines, and there is two things that work best for me. And I've tried everything, because that's the thing about Stoicism, that's the thing about self-help really, is you don't just read it and improve your life. It doesn't do anything. That is actually a form of procrastination, believe it or not. What you do is you read it and you try it, see how it works in your life. You read it, you try it, you read it, you try it, and slowly you start to become a Stoic. How wonderful. So these are two things that I do every single morning to help me have the best day, really. So number one is premeditatio malorum, which is an exercise the Stoics used to do. And all the Stoics wrote about this exercise, actually. And then number two is to remind myself of my nature, which is kind of, the telos of Stoicism. The end goal of Stoicism is to live in accordance with nature, which we're not going to learn about that today. If you want to learn about that, check one of my own videos. But the first thing I do, premeditatio malorum, which is Latin for, and this is very simple, the Latin words sound cool, that's why I say them. It is Latin for the premeditation of the evils and struggles that lay ahead. So basically, you're just sitting there and thinking about the struggles that may come in your day, the difficulties that may befall you in your day, the annoyances, the irritating things, the rude people. And what you do in the morning is you sit there. So imagine you're me. I'm going to walk you through my routine from waking up, premeditatio malorum, nature, getting to work. So I would wake up, don't check your phone straight away unless it's urgent, but don't really check your phone every day because it's a distraction. You just get up and you think, today I'm going to meet with rude people. I'm going to meet with annoying circumstances. Things might not go my way. Get it more specific. So when I used to catch the bus, I'd think the bus could run early. I could miss it. I could forget something at home. The bus driver could be rude. The bus could be packed. The people on the bus could be annoying. There could be rude people putting their feet where the elderly and disabled and pregnant people are supposed to sit, because that happens. People could be playing music. People could be eating fish and chips, and it stinks on the bus. It could be raining. I could be late to work. All these kind of things. And you think about what naturally falls you every day, and you sit there and meditate on this idea, and you come to terms with it, and you accept it, and you truly go, if that thing happens, I'll be all right. If that thing happens, I know exactly what to do. If my boss is annoying, I know exactly how to respond to it. If my boss is annoying, I know how to accept it and say, oh, my boss is always annoying. Because the strange thing is, when I used to catch the bus, and there was always rude people on the bus, when I was much younger, going to my labouring jobs especially, at that time there was rude people on the bus, probably the area I was catching the bus, won't say the name, not putting any areas down, but if you're from Nottingham, you know these areas. But I would think, there's these rude people on the bus, and every day they would annoy me, right? And then I'd get to work, my boss was always really rude, and he would really annoy me. Why did it take me almost a year of these same things happening before I understood these things always happen? Why do I keep letting them annoy me? So I'd meditate on these ideas, and I'd go, if that rude person's on the bus, I'm fine. If the bus driver's annoying, it's fine. If my boss is rude again, fine, whatever. I know how to deal with these things. I'm not going to keep letting it disturb me, because that would be foolish. And believe it or not, hand on heart, honest, when you do this, it makes you bulletproof for your day. Because you're literally prepared for any struggle that comes your way. And most of the times these struggles don't hit you. And you're walking on sunshine, you're up here in the clouds, because you were ready for the struggles, you accepted them, and you're still smiling. So when you don't get any of these, you're up there, you're elated, you're buzzing, it's lovely. But then even when the struggles come, you was prepared for them, you know how to deal with them. And that's something I do every day, and it is wonderful. It's so helpful. So like I said, don't just listen to me and go, that sounds really good. If you want to improve your life, try it. Premeditatio lorem. Go for it. Second thing, and bear in mind, the more you do these, the less you have to do them, if that makes any sense. Like, it has to become an active, conscious thing. Then suddenly, after months or weeks, whatever, of doing it, or years, it soaks into your character, and you suddenly just feel this way, you act this way, you're prepared for the day. Pardon me. So the next thing is a reminder of my nature. Where the Stoics, the telos is to live in accordance with nature. But what is our nature? It's a very confusing, complex thing, and everyone always asks that when you teach Stoicism. But I'm going to break it down very simply, too simply, but it will still make sense. Our nature is to live in accordance with virtue, is to act out of virtue. And to go against our nature is to act out of vice. So virtue is wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. The way I like to see this, to explain this, is if the universe is a perfect symphony, and it is perfect and everything's just in line, playing beautifully, yes? Our nature is to keep that harmony. So act in a way that keeps that harmony. So if you see it that way, being bad, foolishness, intemperance, injustice, cowardice, that knocks out the harmony, because everyone, the cosmic community, everyone playing around us, our families, our loved ones, all of that, the world, everyone going on around us, that's the symphony going on. And when you act out of vice, you disturb that symphony. But when you act out of virtue, of kindness, benevolence, caring, justice, wisdom, temperance, when you act out of this way, it keeps the symphony of the people. So just act out of virtue. But the way this really helps, I used to do this just before I discovered Stoicism, maybe when I was feeling down. I would go on Reddit, and there was a subreddit called Made Me Smile. There was one called Made Me Smile. There was one called Humans Being Bros. And it was just nice things people did. And I used to look at it and think like, I was like, who cares about where I am in my life? Who cares if I'm not a success? Who cares if people are rude? Who cares if I'm not cool and awesome and rich? I can look at what these people are doing and I can try do exactly as they do. And that's cool. That's awesome. Being good is awesome. And that's what I do now is like, I'm like, this, because Marcus Aurelius wrote about this in his Meditations, the great emperor of Rome. He says, there's no more noble pursuit of that than being good. Don't pursue greatness, pursue goodness, pursue being a good person. So when you go about your day, just remember, I have to be good. That is my role as a human being. That's all I need to do. Everything else is fairy dust, smoke and mirrors. It doesn't truly matter as long as you're a good person. So just try and incorporate them into your life. I try to keep it just 2 things, because what people like to do is like 10 Stoic laws, and then you listen to all 10 and you're like, where do I start? You try all 10 of them, too much. Maybe just do 1 of these for now. Do 2 of these. Just try it. See how it improves your life. If it changed your life, leave a comment here and say it changed your life. But thank you for listening. And if you're in the mood for learning more Stoicism and improving your life through Stoicism, because that is what I do. That's what I wrote my book on, Simple Rules for a Good Life, The Everyday Stoic. If you're in the mood for that, then click this video. It's free. It features me. So if you've accepted me as your teacher or whatever, then it's here right now. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Click it.